Hello and welcome to some more Star Citizen. Today we're going to be going over the month of January in the monthly report. This looks at what the various studios from CIG and Star Citizen around the world have been doing for the month of January 2016, and in some cases what they're working on now too. There were various summits in the UK and Los Angeles to prepare for this year. One major change is that they aim to release one significant patch each month. These patches will not be held back by content, they will be time-based releases and they will try and get one out every month with what they've got available. Star Citizen 2.1 Alpha was released and patch 2.2 is pretty much all of the studio's current focus, but let's look at the individual studios and what they've been working on last month. It is going to be a slower month than normal. The studios were on holiday, they had meetings, summits, and they've been planning the new year. Let's take a look at CIG Los Angeles. Obviously, Star Citizen 2.1 was released. Additional missions were added to the verse. The Vanguard Warden and Misk Freelancer were made flight ready, and the Sabre is now hangar ready. In the engineering department there, they made solid progress on the item refactoring, otherwise known as Item System 2.0. It's a big change and will move away from the old XML systems of doing things. They've implemented a physics controlling component that handles the physicalization of objects and how the physics mode of an object is changed. They've also been converting ammo and projectiles into the new management system. Work on shields has been completed and being carried out, so well-managed shields will have a positive benefit over poorly managed ones, obviously. Also, lasers will be more effective at depleting shields the more damage the shields take. Work on a new interaction or U system also continues. Over at the technical design department there, the technical documentation on the 890 jump has just been completed. This looks into like the dimensions of the ship, hardpoints, the volume, and various functionalities, and will help artists with their design elements. The Jean Scout has reached the grey box tech phase, and they've also been looking at the variants, characteristics, and how the cockpit will be laid out. They're refactoring the mass of every ship in game as well at the moment. A metric system to qualified shield performance has also been created, showing how they respond against various weapon types. The art team is beginning to fill out the shader libraries for the Misk line. They've completed the exterior POMs and decals and generated almost all the geometry required to destroy them. They have created some large wallpapers for the office, and each conference room is basically going to be given a different theme based on ship manufacturer. They're creating uniforms and clothing designs for characters in-game, and they've just completed a medium armor concept. The tech content team, they've been working into delving into the causes and performance issues created by the Constellation in 2.1. With 2.1.1, there should be a massively marked increase in game performance. Further content refinements, adding LODs to normalise mesh counts for the Constellation, as well as converting thrusters for all ships to a CDF format, and also adding LODs to the thrusters too. They finalised the skinning vertices on characters. The Gladius has also had LODs added to normalise its mesh count. The narrative team have been meeting to address all the narrative items of the story and how they need to be adjusted for in-game tech advances. They've also been in the process of building more landing zones, going deeper into the look of locations and characters, as well as how in-game products will be advertised or branded. They've been conforming the scripts of Squadron 42 to reflect the dialogue that was recorded in last year's shoot, and also they've continued work with science consultants who've been generating data based on various planets and systems in the Star Citizen universe. At the CIG Austin office, let's start with the Persistent Universe team. There's been lots of scheduling, planning, and progress laying down the roadmap for features and content over the next year. Mark Skelton, Tony Zurovic were in LA to meet with Chris Roberts and Evan Roberts to ensure that all the goals are lined up and that everyone is clear about them. They've identified the hero landing zones, smaller landing zones, and the content they want to bring online this year. The Levski zone in Nix is in its final art stage. Final touches on the shops have also been completed for Cordy's, Conscientious Objects, Cafe Musine, and the medical unit. VFX and lightning passes are also underway for those areas too. Hard design focus at the moment on creating blueprint documentation for the next hero landing zone, Hurston, Lawville. They're also working on the Jeanne Scout, finishing up the initial lighting pass on it. Ships should be finished. This ship should be finished in the near future. They'll also be moving on to revamping the original 3 ships for Arena Commander, the Aurora, the 300i, and the Hornet, so that they match up with the current quality standards. Ship animation, in conjunction with the art team, we're working on the enter and exit cockpit animations for the Scout in preparation for its hangar release. They've also been implementing a new cockpit control system for the ship, the Dual Orb control system. On the PU side as well, they've been wrapping up work on the medical unit animations. They've completed various back-end core systems for the PU as well. They just finished wrapping up work on improvements to the party system that were very much needed, and now they're going to be writing a technical design document for a true Friends system. Let's talk about the live operations team. The QA guys there have been focusing on the deployment of 2.1 to live, obviously, during January. After that, they've started focusing on the game dev branch that will eventually become 2.2. So they're focused on testing the new features and updates in that new game dev branch. They've also been testing out the new party system, updates and improvements, completed additional investigations involving ship speeds, time to kill, and flight mechanics. They've also learnt to effectively monitor and report issues with their back-end services. They've been testing at deploying hotfixes as well for 2.1.2 to PTU and then live. The game support guys, they've been helping with those daily builds that were needed to be tested, assessed, fixed, and then pushed to live. Been working on getting caught up with hacked accounts as well. They want to remind people they don't really condone buying and selling of pledges using the gift system. They actively discourage it at the moment. That gifting mechanic was never intended for that use of selling, basically. They've also been discussing plans for growth in 2016. The live ops guys have been progressing on tools that will support the game build process. They've nearly completed work on the public crash handler as well, which is planned to be incorporated in February's build. And they've also been finishing work on a new type of build which will hopefully impact client load times, as well as planning to get new builds in the pipeline in February in general. Down in Foundry 42 UK, the art concept guys have been finishing off the Javelin exterior, the capital ship turrets, main bridge, low-tech props, asteroid outpost garage exteriors, and the Apocalypse Arms railgun, all of their first passes. The character team have been getting to grips with the new pipeline. Randall Graves is also now close to his in-game final version, and the bridge officer's uniform, High Poly, is also on its way too. The environments guys have been white boxing environments for Squadron 42. There's been changes to layout, composition and vistas. The white boxing for a new location for Crusaders also going ahead, which will feature a familiar character. They're taking that to full production next month. They're also continuing their work on their testbed for the asteroid bases, looking at development for terrain now to complete, and they're applying it to the rest of the landscapes now too. The ship art guys, they're in their final art stages with the Sabre and the Starfarer. The Starfarer will be a bit longer, but they're hoping to have the Sabre flight ready around Crusader soon. Resources, back on the Idris now, they're focusing on that. The Javelin and Bengal have been getting their white box well underway too. The VFX guys have been working on thruster standardization, fixing a number of inconsistencies to smooth out thrusters for in-game and improving functionality to enhanced thruster effects too. They've also been cleaning up a simplified VFX style guide to ensure visual consistency between departments. They've also been collectively looking into the effects requirements for Squadron 42. There's going to be a lot of explosions apparently. The prop art guys, they've continued to focus on ship components and layered materials. They're getting higher quality surface on components that's also less resource heavy for your computer. They've also started work on supporting Squadron 42 levels, working close with the environments team on building some key props too. And they're also working on the next set of flare assets for subscriber hangars. They're going to be a bit different as well, apparently. The design guys, they're working on refactoring the UI for the HUD to give new players a better learning curve experience. The Mobi Glass is also getting much needed work with priorities for apps that are required for Squadron 42 and the shopping experiences. And they're also looking at fuel collection so that players will have interesting things to do when the staff era goes to live. Engineering, those guys have been progressing on some of the core systems to make the game easier to maintain and to fix some of the bugs. They've also been simplifying how packets get sent from server and client, so there's going to be a lot less traffic required. This allows for a more robust and easier way of tracking down any problems too. The object container system has been making good work and good progress. They're beginning to split the levels up into multiple containers and to get them to stream in and out of memory. The graphics team was focusing on improving performance with significant improvements on some ships and scenes. They've also fixed various issues with constellations and retaliators. They're also beginning to focus on newer features, starting with the revival of gas cloud tech, and this is a priority for them over the next couple of months. There's also been improvements on some of the shaders such as glass and skin, and they're doing a new version of the levels of detail merging tool to optimize many systems. The animation guys, they've been working on some of the core first-person shooter mechanics, setting up some requirements for implementation of the low and high cover systems, reworking the locomotion sets, and adding in weight to animation in third person while keeping the camera steady in first person. Adjustments to the core gameplay requirements, so lowering crouch locomotion sets to better fit height metric sets. They're also looking into implementation of vault and mantling mechanics, reviewing motion capture data, and working with design and code to try and break it up to allow for smoother gameplay. The audio department have been tracking down and fixing the audio corruption bug with the help of the QA guys. They've also continued work on Squadron 42 in general, refining impacts of ship-based weapons. They've also been working on the dialogue system database and looking into proximity-based voice-over IP technology. In the extremely busy Foundry 42 Frankfurt, the production team have been completing the AI roadmap for Squadron 42 and Star Citizen. They've also planned to start testing the new and streamlined patching progress. The code department have been working on some physicalized EVA. Also, some more work on procedural planet environments has been completed. They've also done a first pass on AI using cover in the FPS. The AI behavior token system has been implemented. They should now be aware of and make use of cover. Also, more work has been given to the automated testing setups for the CryEngine. The cinematics guys there have been working on scenes for Squadron 42 that are near the start of the game. The senior environment artists have been building terrain and key props for some of the planet side scenes. The design guys there, they've been doing level design work on prototypes for modular environments and power management systems. The power system is ready for internal testing. Cargo prototypes have been worked on internally. They've been trying to balance realism and fun. The looting and resource spawn management systems are also being worked on. The weapons guys, the weapons team have been working on some stuff with the concept art team on a new FPS weapon. It's in the very early stages though. Ship and personal weapon metrics have also been updated. The audio team have been trying to crack down on bugs and refactoring the current audio system. The art guys, the art team has been focusing on the Javelin Destroyer class of skateboards to make sure that they have the right level of details, as well as working on art assets for procedural planet tech. The Tech Art team has been working on the character pipeline, splitting character data into 3 distinct units. One for the render mesh and skeletons, one for the puppet rig, and another to assist the mapping of the animation data. Tools are also being developed to help smooth out the pipeline and let different files communicate with each other more effectively. Also, they've provided some support for the new EVA system animations and some rigging for a weapon prototype. The VFX guys have also been prototyping the look and style of the Zhan technology. It's different to the other races, and they wanted to integrate new tools for texture creation. The Behaviour studio, the design team there has been working on blueprints and white boxes for the Hurston shops. They've also updated the shopping prototype for that too. They're getting the next collection of Flair items on track as well. The art guys there have been doing some research and development for a brand new planet, creating a distinct feel and ambience so that all planets don't look and feel alike. They've also been working on a polishing phase of the industrial and mining building sets, and they've continued work on different shops to explore in Levski as well. They're also been doing a lot of work on industrial pops and next month's Flair. The engineering guys have been working on the party system. They've also been continuing work on the data store system, which allows temporary mods on ships handled through a holotable in Port Olisar. They've also been working with other studios on ships, display screens, optimization, reducing memory and CPU footprints of the ship's UI, as well as making the ship system component driven. They're also working on different prototypes for the shopping experience. Turbulent have been working on a few things too. They've been working on organisation invitation templates. They've refreshed the look and feel so it gives more prominence to the organisation in question's own branding. They've also been helping with the subscription campaign, in addition to redesigning the subscription section of the website. They've also produced some logos and animations that can be used in various videos, and they added exclusive rewards for subs. They've also helped bring those 3 ships into the game, from the website point of view anyway, the Vanguard Warden, the Freelancer, and the Hangar Ready Saber too. They're working on some multi-factor authentication, so early work has been developed with the core mechanisms for the multi-factor or second authentication system. This basically will help reduce the number of hacked accounts. You will need some second authentication factor other than your username and password in order to access the game. The Arc star map as well, they've been in discussions with the dev team how to best integrate the star map actually in-game. They're considering various factors like visual integrity, performance, code maintenance, and system updates. They've also been working behind the scenes to build the Panic service, which is basically the game's clash data, how it's going to be organised into a central database. A new section this month as well, the community section. So the community team have been working on various videos with like the 10 for the series. They've been integrating new and different hosts from different disciplines for expanded variety of questions. Around the Verse continues to expand, including coverage from other studios and that sort of stuff. They're hoping for a chance to visit some of the European studios in person over the year. They've also been upgrading like the audio and lighting equipment and stuff for the videos, and they've recently released 2 videos detailing Gillian Anderson's work on Squadron 42. The forums, they added a new shipyard sub section to the forums, allowing you to discuss your favourite ships. Perks-wise, they added new subscriptions landing page and the video explaining it, as well as they got that new month subscriber flare out, which was the AV8 Battle Armour. Anyway, guys, that's it from the monthly studio report for January 2016. I hope it was informative. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. If you are interested in this, check out the description below for a written and podcast version of it as well. Don't forget to subscribe and all that jazz. It really does help me, and I will see you in the verse.